Ning? Ing. Close. Thank you. If you could state your name and address for the record. And next speaker after that will be Dale Nakagok.
My name is Paul Ing. I live at 7033 East Main Street. I probably have the best view of downtown that anybody does, and the best feel for downtown that anybody does. And I also want to say I'm all in favor of this development. I've been around Scottsdale on and off for a long, long time. Back in the day when we had the best steak was Joe Hunt's Steakhouse. Fifth Avenue had a fabulous Polynesian restaurant. Doc Cavalieri was still over there banging out horseshoes. And American Legion was right across the street from the police station. And Chief Nemitz would come over every evening for a beer. I was very fortunate. He never asked me how old I was. And those old guys used to take me out on a Saturday night after we closed down the American Legion, and we'd go out to Riata Pass. I'd have to spend the night out there because that's how far away it was. And now it's just a short drive. I've seen Scottsdale grow. I've loved every minute of it. My home in Arcadia was the old Herd Museum show home. It is now a 120-year-old adobe. Imagine my surprise when I was overseas and I come home and my wife bought a condominium on Main Street. I go from an acre to 1,800 square feet, cement, with two little dogs, and I have to walk them down here to find grass. That's where I met Mayor Lane. He used to always admonish me, make sure I pick up the dog droppings. And I always told him, hey, I'll do that as long as you make sure you take care of the council people, too. I'm only teasing. I like the project. I am concerned about one thing, though. It's not the height. It's how we get around that height exclusion. My understanding is there is a deed restriction which belongs to the HOA of Main Street Plaza, of which I am a member. I remember years ago, City Council decided they wanted to keep baseball here and they wanted to build a new stadium, and they were going to take the old golf course over here on Osborne and build something for the baseball team. That's when they found out there was a deed restriction. That land had been donated to the city, and the restriction was it would always be a golf course. Well, I live in a property, I'm a part of an HOA, and it says there's a height restriction. How do you get rid of the height restriction? I live there. I've never been to a meeting. Nobody's ever asked me if I approve of it, releasing the height restriction, and I don't have a problem with it. The only problem I had was when it was brought to my attention that that height restriction removal value was about $800,000. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not a greedy person, but it's the HOA property. If somebody's going to pay $800,000 to remove a height restriction, that should go to the HOA. Indirectly, it's mine, my undivided ownership of it. And so that's why I'm here. I'm looking for the answers to how did that happen? Mr. McDonald, how did you get that deed restriction removed? I'd like to know. Was it done legally? If it was done legally, please share it with me, because then I'll go home and I'll be satisfied. But if my HOA directors, who are supposed to be fiduciaries, have done something given away something that I'm not aware of or I'm not privy to, then I want to know. And that's all I have. But otherwise, yes, I approve of the project. I love downtown. I'll probably die down there. And hopefully I'll see this built before I die.
Very good.
And by the way, don't let my looks fool you. I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.